Hello, friends. It's me, Christiana Gaudet. I am live on my YouTube channel, and it is time for our Cards and Conversation Tarot Meetup. If you're watching an archive, thank you so much for being here. This is the meetup that replaces our monthly meetup at Panera in Palm City. Once we've got COVID under control, we'll start meeting in Palm City again. But in the meanwhile, we get to share our meetup with tarot friends around the world. Let me say hi to some of the folks who are here. Alicia, good to see you. Kathy, glad you're here, coming in from Delaware. Julianne in Tampa, nice to see you. First time here and a beginner tarot reader. That is so great. Marcos, I know you're Anna. Nice to see you. Melanie, good to see you. Claire C., happy to see you. Hope you're enjoying your travel trailer. Dave, happy to see you. Deerfield Beach, near Fort Lauderdale. Gypsy Jade, I know who you are. I know you by another name on Facebook, and I'm not remembering it, but I know you. Karen Maynard, nice to see you. La Morena, nice to see you. Laura, glad you're here. Neil Quatrano, nice to see you. Marion K. Tarot, nice to see you. We'll welcome people as they come in. Miluska, am I pronouncing that correctly? Hello from Peru, so nice to see you here. Jackie Scott, glad you're here. Okay, so some of you already did it. Let me ask you, if you have not done so, tell us where in the world you are and tell us what deck you're working with right now. Teresa, yes, Gypsy, thank you. Thank you, I knew it. Very good. Clumsy Clairvoyance, nice to see you. So where in the world are you? What deck are you working with? For those of you who are here for the first time, we thank you so much. We've been doing 3 meetups a month here on YouTube since COVID started. Once COVID is more under control in the area, we'll go back to just 2, I think. And I also teach 2 free classes every month here on this YouTube channel. You can find them in archive, the ones we've already done, and you can also find the ones that are scheduled. There's one more scheduled for this month. That is this coming Saturday, the 24th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's a special 90-minute class where we are going to do a Major Arcana Grand Tableau. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. I didn't know what that meant 2 months ago. But we're going to go through it together and we're going to play with it. Okay. Anna, showing up as Marcos, is in Rio, working with Tarot of the Golden Wheel. Karen Maynard is my neighbor in Florida, working with the Waite Smith. Gypsy Jade is in Georgia. Clumsy Clairvoyance is in California, using the White Sage Tarot. That's such a great deck, isn't it? Laura's in Hawaii, using the Nightmare Before Christmas deck. Is it awesome? Do you love Tim Burton? Do you love the Nightmare Before Christmas? My household just loves Tim Burton. My kids grew up on it. I don't have that deck yet, but I'd love to hear about it. Okay. Melanie is in Chicago, working with the Rider-Waite Smith. Smile Soul 20 is in Connecticut. And Maluska, I pronounced your name correctly. Hallelujah. I'm Christiana, also kind of hard to pronounce. And Juliana's in Tampa, using Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck. What a great deck is that? Very Art Nouveau, right? Really lovely. All righty. So, Marion is in Scotland, using the Maori Tattoo Tarot. Just found it today, got it years ago, and forgot you had it. You know, I love that. You know, it happens with clothes. It happens with tarot decks. It's like you go shopping in your closet and find something new. So cool. Claire, you're here with Mystic Mondays today. Man, that is the top of my wish list. I want Mystic Mondays so bad. I was saying that at the last meetup. Glad you're here. Nice to see you. We've got 2 Claires here. We've got Claire C. and we've got Claire with an I. Happy to see both of you here. Claire C. is from Port Charlotte, Florida, using Rider-Waite Radiant Tarot. The little ones that came in the tin, that's a good one. Kathy is using the Rider. Oh, Neil has the Tarot of Dreams and is in Connecticut. So good. Ashley's here. Very good. Jackie's in London using the universal weight. Laura says, I love Tim Burton. I decided to watch the movie again while shuffling the deck for messages last night. Love to hear how that went. Very cool, very cool. So, for those of you who have not done this with us, we have a format that pretty much stays the same meeting to meeting. In the first half hour, we do readings for each other. And in the second half hour, we do some tarot study. And I usually have an idea for something I'd like to play with, and I do today. Sometimes I get ideas from our Global Tarot Circle group on Facebook. If you're on Facebook and if you have not asked to join Global Tarot Circle, please do so. We'd love to have you. We don't do a lot in the group throughout the month, but we might share the exercises that we do. We might share things that come up from time to time. And I always ask if there's anything you want us to cover. You also have a chance to ask here today if you have particular questions. Jessica, it's nice to see you. You're in Dallas using Crystal Visions Tarot, one of my favorite decks. I love that deck. Okay, very good. So we start with questions for a reading. If you would like a reading, all you have to do is ask a question. I will answer the question with a single card reading, and anyone else who wants to will pull a card and put that answer into the comments by putting the name of the person, the name of the card they got, and their interpretation. This is great practice for reading. If you receive a reading, you can hear what I have to say, and then you can go through and get the rest of your reading by reading through the comments. It's a great group exercise to sort of see if the cards that come up are similar or different or what that looks like. I do move fairly quickly, and it's easier, right? It's easier to speak than it is to type. So if you find I'm moving too quickly for you to do every one, you can do every other one or just do the ones you're called to do, whatever feels good to you. So at this point, the floor is open for your questions. What would you like to know today for a reading? Your questions about tarot, tarot cards, tarot techniques, tarot ethics, any of that stuff, we'll do that in the second half. In the first half, we're doing questions for readings, and it looks like Gypsy Jade is the first one in that I see, so we'll start with her. What is most important for me to know as I go through lots of major life changes, divorce, moving, working, etc. Man, that's a lot of upheaval. I'm so sorry you're going through all that. If you would like to do this reading, you can go ahead and tag it at Gypsy Jade. The name of the card you got and your interpretation. What is most important for her to know right now as she goes through divorce, moving, everything that she is dealing with in her life right now? Let's take a look. The card I got is the High Priestess. And for me, what is most important for you to know is you got this. You are okay. You will be fine. You will get through this. You have the spiritual strength. You have the intelligence. You have the balance. You have the wisdom. You have everything you need to know and to do to get through this. Okay. Okay. Oh, interesting question from Dave. There's a special lady in Montreal recovering from surgery who may come down here when COVID permits. Are there romantic possibilities here? If you'd like to do this reading for Dave, at David Victor, the name of the card you got and your interpretation. What do you think? Do we see the possibility of romance? And man, if I were talking to her, Dave is a great guy, man. I would tell her she should scoop that up right away. But let's see what we see here. Let's see what we see. Ooh, Dave, I got the Tower. So this is really interesting because that could mean either a resounding yes or a resounding no. I have seen the Tower in the past come up for someone who's been single for a really long time and then suddenly welcomes in a relationship and just the upheaval that brings in. I've also seen the Tower to say, stay the heck away from that. So who knows? But clearly there's a big energy there. Let's see what the other people have to say. I'll be so interested. Okay. Okay, so West Star Tarot, so nice to see you here. Glad you're here. Can you give us insight into the US elections? So I have a personal policy of not making public predictions about who is going to win an election. My thing is the biggest problem in the United States is that of all the eligible voters, only about 50% of us actually show up at the polls and vote. And so we're not a great democracy. Everyone needs to vote. That's what I think. And so, how do we want to do this? Anyone who would like to, and I do not want to get into a political argument, I do not want to get into a conversation of the pros and cons of either of our fine candidates. One of the things that is very true about the tarot community is we are a very diverse community. And people have all different kinds of beliefs. Not everyone here is American, although I think everyone's watching, wherever you are in the world, you're watching this election with some interest. So if anyone wants to ring in on anything having to do with what's going on here, go ahead. But I do not want to hear any opinions. We all have them. And it's good that we have them, and we should vote, and we should give money, and we should call our senators and congressmen, and we should do all of that. But I want this to feel like a safe space for everyone who's here. So that being said, what I'm going to do is about voter turnout. So if you're going to do this, you can tag it for West Star Tarot. And I think she knows she and I probably share a lot of the same views. You didn't upset the apple cart. It's all good. We're all wondering, right? So if you would like to say something, either make a prediction with the cards. If you have a particular question about it, my question is going to be voter turnout. Will voter turnout be low or high at the end of the day? And if you'd like to do that one, you can go right ahead. Tag Westside Tarot, give the name of the card you got. If it's unclear, give the question that you're asking of the cards. Mine is, again, how will voter turnout be? I got the Four of Pentacles. And so I'm going to say still too low. You know, still a huge swath of our population that does not vote for one reason or another. And that's a damn shame. That's what I got to say. Okay. Kathy, should I pursue my friendship with Larry? And if you'd like to do this reading, at Kathy Levin, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation, should she pursue her friendship with Larry? It depends, man. The Four of Cups. It really depends what you want to get out of it. I'm not sure that there's a huge lot here. But up to you what you want to do. I'm not sure if you really want to when it comes right down to it. But there it is. Okay, so let's see what we got. Okay. Okay, Marion K. Tarot, have I done enough this time to get the corporate job? Will she get the job? At Marion K. Tarot, the name of the card you got and your interpretation. Page of Swords reversed. If you have not already done the interview, there is something there about a need for greater communication. We'll see. We'll see. And it may be that you did everything and it's still not going to go your way, but never fear, it'll be okay. Ashley, is my moving a good thing for me? If you'd like to do this reading, at Ashley, the name of the card you got, your interpretation. What do you think? Moving a good thing? Two of Swords, it's okay. I think really wherever you go, there you are. And so there really is a sense of it's fine, it's okay, but there may be other things you need to work on nonetheless. Okay. Smile Soul 20. My question is, will I have some romantic love interest coming into my life? If you would like to do this reading, at Smile Soul 20, the name of the card you got and your interpretation. The Chariot, not as quickly as you would like. To turn this around, you may need to be more proactive. Claire C., is there anything I can do to help my sister find out what is wrong with her skin? Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. She is having a difficult time. So let's take a look. If you would like to do this reading, at Claire C., the name of the card you got and your interpretation. Let's see what we got. What you can do to help her find out what's wrong with her skin. Let's see what we got here. Okay. If you'd like to do this reading, at Claire C., the name of the card, your interpretation. Four of Swords reversed. So encourage her to keep trying, keep going to doctors, keep trying different things. Don't let her quit. Don't let her quit. Okay, lots of great readings going on. Thank you, everyone, for participating in this process. It's such a fun thing. We've got people here from all over the world, and yet we are coming together to read for each other and to interact with each other using tarot as the thing that brings us together. And it's a great thing, and I so appreciate your being part of it. Hey, Dawn, nice to see you here. Dawn is in Cooksville, Tennessee, reading with the Halloween Tarot. Nice seasonal choice there. Okay. Karen Maynard, so nice to see you. Are we going to find a contractor that fits our needs so we can finally get the ceiling and other work done? If you would like to do this reading for Karen, at Karen Maynard, the name of the card you got, your interpretation. Yes, the star, yes, and you'll be very happy. Julia, so nice to see you. It's been a while since we've seen you here. I'm glad you're here. What does she say? Love to be here with you. Big virtual hugs. Yes, indeed. Okay. Okay. Rossi Tesler, nice to see you. Glad you're here. Lots of readings going on. Okay. I'm just reading through, looking for questions. Oh, a sportsing question, a sportsing question. So this is so fun. We'll see how we do. I have had times of doing very, very well with sportsing and then other times not so much. So let's see. Will the Atlanta Braves win their Game 7 match today and move to the World Series? Okay, everyone, it's a good yes or no question. Do the Atlanta Braves go to the World Series? Yes or no? Let's see how we do. If you'd like to do this reading, at Clumsy Clairvoyance, the name of the card you got, your interpretation. You know, I went through a streak of doing a lot of sports predictions. I actually would go on this sports radio station and do predictions. I don't know anything about sports, so it was funny. But it went well, and I got a lot right. Even things like predicting the Red Sox winning, you know, breaking the curse of the Bambino and that kind of thing. But then a couple years ago, I totally blew the World Series. No, not the World Series. What's the football one? The Super Bowl, right. I totally blew the Super Bowl. So who the heck knows? Let's see. Do the Atlanta Braves go to the World Series? Wheel of Fortune, I'm going to say anything can happen, but it's looking good. And Gypsy Jade says it's looking good as well. So we'll see. We'll all know soon, won't we? Okay, Neil. Will the DDS audit I just received end in my favor? Let's take a look. If you'd like to handle this, at Neil Quatrano, the name of the card you got and your interpretation. Let's see what we got here. The star, yes, yes, yes. Yes, it'll be fine, Neil. I really believe it. Okay. Very good. Ultraviolet, Morgan Tarot, what does that boy really think of me? Let's take a look. And obviously, for some people, this is a third-party question that is looking at what someone else thinks. There are some people who aren't comfortable with this kind of question. I really don't have a hard time with it at all. I'm happy to do it. If you're willing to do it as well, at Ultraviolet Morgan Tarot, the name of the card you got and your interpretation. What does that boy really think of her? Wheel of Fortune, and this is the second time I shuffled, second time this card has come up. I would say feelings that are going in cycles, not really sure, sometimes really enjoying you, other times not really sure what to make of you. And so if you're getting a mixed read, it's because the feelings are mixed or unsure. Okay, Ama X, nice to see you. Yes, this is our tarot meetup, so you're in the right place. Okay, please join us with what we're doing here. Adiyar, my question is, where's my relationship with Yogesh going? Is marriage in the cards? Let's take a look. If you'd like to do this reading, at Adiyar, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Ace of Wands, I think it's quite possible. I think that there is something here. Okay. Okay, here's a question for Ama X. If I make a reduced offer tomorrow at House HH, will it be accepted? Let's take a look. We're doing a lot of yes and no's today, which is funny because that goes into what I want to talk about in the study portion of our time together. So, if you'd like to do this one, at Ama X, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Will the offer be accepted? The Tower, perhaps not. And also with this, you may need to look at, is this what you really want? Okay. Lots of great readings going on. Okay, Maluska Alvarez. My question is if I'll be fine in my job next year. Let's take a look. How will the job go next year? If you'd like to do this reading, at Maluska Alvarez, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. The Empress reversed. I think there's some things you need to be careful about. There may be a particular person for whom you work where there's a difficulty. There may be issues in scheduling, doing the work you need to do, and then everything else you have to do in your life. I do think you need to be careful. Okay, so there's a few of us that are going with yes for the Atlanta Braves going to the World Series. Let's take a look and see how it goes. So interesting. Okay. Marion has a really smart question, a question about the World Series. Why is it called the World Series when it's only U.S. teams? It's a great question. Does anyone know the answer to that? As I said, I don't know anything about sportsing. Okay. Lots of good readings going on here. Okay, I feel like I've gotten to the end of the questions. If I accidentally missed you, I apologize. Please reiterate your question. If you had a question for a reading that you have not asked, and I only like to do one question per person, but if you haven't asked a question, you wanted to ask a question, now's the time. And at this time, I'm going to open the floor to questions about tarot. Anything at all you'd like to know, whether you're interested in taking a survey about people's favorite cards or favorite decks, whether you have questions about a particular technique or how to handle a particular thing, if you got a particular card recently that you didn't know how to interpret, if you have questions about ethics, any question at all, the floor is open. So right now, the floor is open to questions for readings and question about tarot. Okay. Dave says Dave would know this, right? Became the World Series in the early 70s when Canada became involved, and it won 2 years in a row. Okay. Okay, so a reading for La Morena. I don't have a specific question, if that's okay. I just want to see what's up with the universe for me. Okay, what does the universe want La Morena to know? If you'd like to do this reading at La Morena Sin Pena, what does the universe want her to know? The name of the card you got and your interpretation. The Sun, La Morena. You are called to find your happiness. You are called to celebrate your brilliance. You are called to be who you are, loud and proud, without fear. Go for it. That's what the universe wants you to know. Okay. Lacoste Boy 777. Oh, okay. We've got a couple of great questions here for reading. One from Lacoste Boy 777 and one from Karen Maynard. Great questions. We also have a question for a reading from Joanna Shenik. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to skip ahead to Joanne's reading question, get that done, and then we're going to go back and we're going to handle the two questions from Lacoste Boy 777 and from Karen. Both two really, really good tarot reading questions, and I'm grateful for them. So, Joanna Shenik, and this may be the last reading question that we handle. Daughter's dog has a tumor. Is it terminal or should she go ahead with the costly workup? That is so hard. That is so hard. Let's take a look and see what we see. Does it make sense to spend the money or not? If you'd like to do this reading, at Joanna Shenik, the name of the card you got, your interpretation. Two of Pentacles reversed. Your daughter's going to feel better if she spends the money, but I don't think she has the money to spend. And I think, maybe better not. That's my thought. Okay, very good. So if you have readings that you're continuing to do, please do. Now, we're going to go through and handle these tarot card questions one at a time. Okay. Lacoste Boy 777. I want to know how to not get distracted when reading. How do you know you're not just making it up? Okay, if anyone has a great answer here for Lacoste Boy 777, go ahead and tag at Lacoste Boy 777. How do you not get distracted? And how do you know you're not just making it up? So part of that, I'm going to give my answer and let's see what other people have to say. So I'm going to tell a story. This is a Mary Greer story. She told a story once when she was a very baby tarot reader, just starting out. She'd been doing the cattle call. You know what the cattle call is, right? Where we sit at a table and there's person after person after person. She'd been doing that and she was packing up her stuff to go. She was tired. And this couple came, they sat down, they wanted a reading. And she said, okay, fine. And she's really tired and she's not into it at all. She's just doing it. And she thinks she's making it up at this point. But it was the best reading she'd ever done. The people she's reading for are like, yes, how do you know that? That's really specific. Sometimes, if you just let your brain wander and go, it goes to truth. And sometimes it feels like you're making it up. It really does. Because the third eye, eyesight, psychic vision, and imagination. So what it feels like to use your imagination is very similar to what it feels like to use your psychic vision. And so you really need to do a lot of practice readings for yourself and others. And when you're reading for others, let them know you're practicing. Who the heck knows? But you'll know after time goes by. And then you'll get a sense of what the truth really feels like. Now, how do you keep from getting distracted? I'm going to tell you another story having to do with when I was a baby tarot reader. I started reading professionally after about 8 years of study. And I found in those first few years that I'd be doing a professional reading and something would come into my mind that would remind me randomly, seemingly, of something someone else I knew had gone through or something I myself had gone through. And it felt like distraction. But it turned out that whatever that memory was, my memory or for someone else, whatever that memory was what the person I was reading for was going through. So if I suddenly thought about my friend's divorce, the person I was reading for was going through a divorce. If I suddenly thought about the time my cat died, the person I was reading for was going through pet loss. So sometimes the distraction is actually a psychic thing. Okay, and please read through and see what other people have to say. Okay, Karen Maynard. How do you handle getting a negative card in a position meant for a positive message? For example, if the position is the thing I hope for most, and you get the 9 of Swords, it might be a damn good night's sleep because I've been having a hard time sleeping. You just have to sort of interpret it in context. And if you'd like to answer this question as well, tag it at Karen Maynard. And it's about when you get a negative card in a positive position. Or what if the position is, what's my greatest strength? And you get a card like the Devil. Well, maybe your greatest strength is being really directed and connected to a particular mission. Or maybe your greatest strength was that you overcame an addiction. So it's all about looking at that card and seeing it in context. Let's see what other people have to say. Okay, here's a good one from Ashley. I sometimes get freaked out when the Tower card comes up. How should this card be interpreted? We had that happen today. It really depends. You know, the Tower could mean something unfortunate is going to happen, but it could be you break a fingernail. It could be you get in a car accident. I mean, it could be anything on the spectrum. But it could also be an understanding that something that is not working for you has to change, that you have to change something. It could even be something is coming that's going to rock your world. So even though, like, we do see it in a way as a very negative card, we have to remember that those final 7 cards of the major arcana are the cards of spiritual enlightenment. And sometimes the Tower, you know, the lightning that strikes down the Tower is enlightening. And this is about getting rid of the things that do not serve you. And it may be painful and it may be difficult, but it's necessary. You know, I mean, sometimes great things come out of the things that you fear. That's what I have to say. Let's see what other people have to say. Okay, Claire C., I am wondering if any of the cards relate to the Greek gods and goddess archetypes. I see the Queen of Swords as Athena. You absolutely can, yeah, absolutely. And there are decks that do that, Mythic Tarot, most notably, but other decks as well. Goddess Tarot by Chris Walder brings in goddesses from all over. So, yeah, absolutely. I've seen a couple of decks that have Hera as the Hierophant, which is kind of fun. Okay. Okay, so Dave, regarding Lacoste Boy 777's question, of course you're making it up. It's all about your intuition. Any divinatory device is a tool for the psychic's own intuition. Fair enough. Kathy, to not get distracted, follow the pattern of the cards, past, present, future, trust your intuition. The reading is for the questioner, not for you. They will understand. And Julia says, I feel like that is the hardest hurdle to overcome. Once you don't worry, you are there. But you didn't tag it, so I don't know what you're talking about. Julianne, sometimes I feel overwhelmed by the amount of info you can get from a Celtic cross spread. Yes, that's why I love it. When is it appropriate to do a 1-card reading versus a 3-card reading versus a Celtic cross? Or let me add in there, any larger spread. Is one better than the other? Yes. And if you want to answer this, tag it at Julianne Burkhart, how you choose the kind of spread you do. And I think knowing what technique to use is really half the battle. And I really think, and I know you're a beginner and it takes time, be patient with yourself. But this is such a smart question. I have to feel like you're really on your way here. So I feel like a good tarot reader knows a number of techniques, can use a number of techniques. Don't get stuck with just one technique. Have many, many techniques in your back pocket. And you may have your favorite go-to technique, but then you know when a situation requires something different. So, for me, I use a Celtic cross to begin a reading, especially when there is no question. And I prefer to start a reading without a question. You know, if you come to me for a reading, we might spend an hour together. And my preference is, I'll do it your way if you want to do it a different way, but my preference is, let me see what I see first. And I put out a Celtic cross, and I do an 11-card Celtic cross that is just fire. I love this spread. And from there, I can see what all the questions are. I get a sense of who the person is, what's going on, what's most important, what the questions are. So then I have a list of questions. And I'll say to the person, okay, so I feel like we need to deal with this, 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 and this, and this. What do you think? And they'll either say, yes, that's my list, or, well, I hadn't thought of all those questions, but yeah, we need to, or that's my list plus this other thing. Okay, fine. Then we deal with them one at a time. And my way of doing that is really to ask a question and pull a couple of cards. So I feel like if you have a very direct question, 1, 2, 3 cards is fine. And maybe you'll pull one card, and if that answers it, great. If it doesn't, pull a few more cards, see the story come out, and then when you have enough cards to answer the question, well, that's the number of cards you needed. So if it's a specific question, just do like that. And if we want the whole full picture, a full reading, then you want the Celtic cross or some other comprehensive spread. That's what I say. Let's see what other people have to say. Okay, so here's for Lacoste Boy 777 from Ultraviolet Morgan Tarot. You just got to get over it, be willing to make stuff up, and see the results yourself. It's this mysterious thing. Very good. Very good. And Claire says, I say what comes straight to me. I've questioned myself and discovered that my first hit was correct. You know, I will tell you, I agree with that. I have more regretted the things I was afraid to say, you know, than the things I did say. Very rarely have I said something at the tarot table that I live to regret. But there have been times where it just didn't make sense. And so I didn't say it. And someone else said this too. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to make sense to you. It will make sense to the other person. And you can say that. You can say, this makes no sense to me, but this is what I'm getting. Does it make sense to you? And if they say no, you can just file it away for later. Okay. So I can always count on clumsy clairvoyance for great group questions. This is the person you always want to have in your tarot meetup. Here's a question for everyone. Tag it at clumsy clairvoyance. To answer it, what tarot card do you relate to the most? I will say, as a reader, the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands has always been my significator. I'm a Leo rising. And that was the card that I embraced when I knew I wanted to be a tarot reader, because as a Scorpio, Queen of Cups felt too mushy for me. You know, I am the mushiest person. I will cry over everything. And that's hard for a tarot reader. I mean, I'll still cry at the table with you. It happens. But Queen of Wands bringing that fire to it was very helpful to me. But too, I also love temperance. I feel a real personal connection to temperance. Okay. Ultraviolet Morgan Tarot. Another thing I found is that I sometimes feel like I'm not seeing anything deep. It's all just obvious, but once I start just saying what's obvious, it's more than enough. Yes, agreed. Gypsy Jade about the tower says, I love the tower. It means freedom to me. Right, because you're knocking down that tower and getting on to the next thing. Marin K. Tarot, about Lacoste Boy's question. One of the things I do is once I've pulled the cards, I carry on shuffling the cards, not to add to the spread, but to keep my conscious mind busy so my intuition can be heard. Yes. And regarding the Greek gods, La Morena says, you could apply any cultural archetypes or divinities to the cards, I believe. I can see the Olympians and others all over, the majors and some minors, sure. And that's why, like, there's an Orisha tarot, right? I mean, it's very true. Very, very true. Claire C. says, about greatest strength, the devil card could be about sensuality and helping others get in touch with it. Sure. And Ultraviolet Morgan Tarot to Lacoste Boy says, when it sort of doesn't make sense to you, it usually makes sense to them. It's the times I feel most doubtful, like I don't want to say that, are often the times I'm hitting it. Yes, absolutely. Okay, and Ultraviolet Morgan is working with the lovely Cosmic Tarot. I have a truth about that deck, my personal truth about that deck. It is beautiful, it is lovely, and I can't read with it because there's something about it that feels too sexy. Isn't that funny? Like, what is that? You know, it's just, I love the deck. I've owned it so many times and I always end up giving it away because it's like, it's just, I don't know. Is it too sexy? Is it too 70s? I don't know what that is, but it's not good with my energy. So weird. Okay, and about the Celtic Cross, Ultraviolet says, I think the Celtic Cross is well worth learning. It's hard, but you learn a lot in the struggle, and when it clicks, it's amazing, right? The 11 card Celtic Cross. The 11 card Celtic Cross, you can go to my Teachable, which is Card and Craft Academy, and take a course on it. But I will tell you that the extra position is about love and romance. And of course, I'm old, and so I make a Spinal Tap joke about it. If any of you love the movie, as I do, this is Spinal Tap. I say, yeah, but this goes to 11. Only a few of you are going to get that joke. Okay, Karen Maynard. I did a reading the other day, and before the reading, I decided I was going to do a Celtic Cross, but then during the reading, I realized I pulled too many cards. Lesson learned still was validated. Got it. Decides that 3 cards would have been best. Sure. And some more about the tower from Claire. Claire says, I love the Tower. It confirms the unstableness of a situation, and sometimes you need to let it crumble and fall in order to rebuild stronger and with the knowledge of past failings. Yup, it ain't pleasant, but it's good. Cynthia says she's connected to the Queen of Wands, right? See, we're sisters. We're Queen of Wands sisters there because you're Sagittarius. Okay, and other people ringing in on their card. For Kathy, it's the High Priestess. Dave is the Knight of Cups. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff going on there. Definitely go through and read all of that. Oh, Dawn is Temperance. Karen is also the Queen of Wands, especially because of the Black Cat. Ultraviolet is the Moon and Strength. High Priestess, Magician, Page of Cups, and Queen of Pence. Nice. Nice, nice. Good stuff. And for Claire, it changes. Right now, I relate to the Three of Pentacles. I'm becoming a master painter. Well, at least that is my hope. Very good. Dave, you got my Spinal Tap joke. You were the one person here that I thought might maybe get it. Yep. Very good. Lacoste Boy is King of Cups and is a Pisces. Okay, folks, let me tell you what I wanted to talk about. And this is actually, Anna Marcos Herring is the Queen of Swords. Very good. This is a lead in to the class that I am teaching here on Saturday. Please do join us next week, this Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We are going to work out how it is to do a grand tableau with the major arcana. And what that means is each major arcana card asks a question. And so what I wanted to talk about today is cards that ask questions. How sometimes in a reading, a card will ask you a question. And that may be a question to now pull more cards on. It may be a question for you to take to your heart and contemplate. But I feel like it's very important in a tarot reading to leave room for letting the cards ask you questions. And then you can also use the cards to answer those questions or not, as the system, as the situation dictates. So there's a nice conversation going on here about the queens being badass. Absolutely, absolutely. So let me ask you, do you have any cards that in your mind kind of always ask a question? Like for me, the Four of Cups will very often ask this question of like, so should you sit and wait or should you take something? I get that you're not happy with your options, but is it in your best interest to figure something out and take something, or is it in your best interest to sit and wait? Are you being wise? Or are you blocking yourself off to an opportunity? So very often the Four of Cups will ask a question. Do you have cards in your mind that always or very often ask questions? Let me know, tag it questions or cards that ask questions, and tell me which cards in your mind ask questions. So Anna says, my card that always asks questions is the Hanged Man. Is the sacrifice worth it? Melanie says, the Tower always asks a question. What question? Is the question, what is it that you have to get rid of? Inspector Cynthia, Nine of Swords is a card that asks questions. What questions? Are you sleeping okay? Are you depressed? Okay. So Julia's excited about the class and feel like the Queen of Wands. I think there's a lot of Queens of Wands amongst we tarot folks. I think that's true. That's true. So Dave says, I've always done the 10-card Celtic Cross, and I felt that it was cheating to pull more cards if the query isn't satisfied. You've given me the freedom to pull supplementary cards. I'm going to do so. Oh, yeah, do have that freedom. And I'll tell you what I do is I kind of commit to memory the cards that have come up. And if you can't do that, just snap a picture of it, because we all now carry cameras. And then pick up all the cards and shuffle them together so that the same cards can come up again and again. So as you're answering those questions, you'll start to see, you'll get stalker cards in the same reading session. And that is so valuable. It won't happen all the time, but it will happen. So yeah, feel free to do that and recognize that one question may lead to others, and use your intuition to develop what those questions are. So if the question, Melanie says it would be an excellent topic for a class, the cards that ask questions and how to get answers. Oh, you're good, because I need more classes. Good, 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 good. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, a situation where, okay, let's go to Dave's earlier question. So suppose he was at my table and he asked about romantic possibilities with this person. I now have a series of questions in my mind. First of all, how's she going to recover for her surgery? When's she going to visit? What will the energy between the two of them be? What is the compatibility like? What is her interest? One question can break into so many questions, and I'm going to want to read on all of them if we have time. So there's that. There's that. Oh, yes, the fool might ask questions. Absolutely. Questions, the 6 of coins. Should I give the money to this guy or that guy? Julia, question card, the 4 of swords, because one is either meditating or waiting for the right time. Sure. Cards that ask questions from Julianne. 8 of swords, is everyone criticizing you or are you just being hard on yourself? Sure. Clumsy, cards that ask questions. The magician, creative and physical powers, sometimes even spiritual strength. But where does this power need to be placed too? And I'll tell you, for me, the magician is so often mundane. It's like going to school, learning to use your tools. What tools are you using? So funny. And Ultraviolet says you can also use another deck after you've laid out the Celtic Cross. Yes, you can. And Karen says, do people mix 2 tarot decks together like we mix Oracle decks together? You could. I wouldn't necessarily shuffle them together, but there have been times I've used 2 decks in a reading. Sure. Yes, and there's this side conversation about why people don't like the Queen of Swords. And Marion says, I believe it goes back to the Golden Dawn interpretations and how the patriarchal society at the time felt about unmarried or divorced independent women. Yes, and women who speak their mind. Remember, the Queen of Swords is a smart woman and a woman who communicates. And, women were supposed to be quiet, right? And Ultraviolet says, I've been thinking about starting with the Celtic Cross as a default and then let the rest of the reading sort of blossom from that foundation. Honestly, that is the technique I have been using for more than 25 years. It developed very organically, and it has always worked for me. Very rare is the reading I will do that does not go that way. Once in a while, I'll use a different technique for a different situation or a different kind of client, but that has been the basis of my, excuse me for saying it, but quite successful career. So if it works for you, by all means, yes. Okay, La Morena, cards that ask questions. Moon, 5 of Cups, 8 of Cups, 7 of Cups, 4 of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles. Yes, absolutely. Karen, cards that ask questions. Temperance, what do you need to balance or merge or mix? Yes. Dawn, cards that ask questions. 5 of Swords. Are you holding the sword or in the background walking away? Right. Absolutely. Okay, good stuff. So, as we come to the end of our time together, let's do this exercise. Shuffle, pull 1 card and let that ask you a question and then pull a second card to answer it. Let's see how that goes. And Karen says, I was brought up on an 11-card Celtic with the significator being under the situation card. Sure. Okay. So you're going to end up pulling 2 cards. The first card asks the question. The second card answers the question. So pull 1 card, formulate the question, ask the question, and pull a second card in answer. If you want to share what you got, go ahead. Let us know how it goes. So my card for a question is the Knight of Wands. And being that I'm kind of locked down in Florida, and the Knight of Wands for me is always like my going to concert, card, my going out and having fun. I'm going to ask the question right now, given the limitations that I have right now, what can I do for fun? And the answer is Six of Swords, exactly what I'm doing, studying, learning. Maybe literally, I might go to the beach and hang out amongst the water, which is a good thing. But really, the intellectual pursuits, remembering that this is a card of science, of logic, of intellectualism. And that is exactly what I've been doing, and it's been working real well. Okay, lots of good questions here. Clumsy Clairvoyance has a technique question. Do you ever just shuffle and see what pops up and keep going depending on your own intuition? So do you mean shuffle and wait for a jumper? Waiting for a jumper card? I shuffle a lot. I wear out a deck of cards pretty much every 3 months because I shuffle so much. This deck has lasted a while because I'm not out doing parties. So I'm probably on 3 months here, and it's still in relatively good shape, actually. But I don't get enough jumpers to be able to do that. But I will certainly shuffle until I feel like it's time to stop shuffling. And I'll even do that, like, doing a phone reading. I'll just keep shuffling until it's time, and I'll apologize to the person, but I'll say, hey, you need a good shuffle today, and they'll laugh and they'll wait. It's fine. Okay, but I do pay attention to the jumpers. Okay, Melanie, for the question card, Hanged Man reversed. So what was the question you asked with that? What question did you ask from the Hanged Man reversed? And I think it's cool that you got 2 major arcana cards because your answer was the Lovers. Find an area of joy to break open and move forward. But I want to know what question that Hanged Man gave you. Okay, so here's Anna's 3 of Swords. What is it that you can't let go and that is causing you so much pain? Answered by the 10 of Swords. Good Lord. Life is asking you to change how you take defeat and move on. Interesting. Interesting. So Kathy, 8 of Pentacles. I'm not quite sure what that question is. Want to stay independent. I'm not sure how that's a question. But I'd be interested to know. And your answer card was the Page of Wands. So how does that all work together for you? Oh, this is funny from Ultraviolet. Someone told me Pisces always get jumpers because we are fish. Oh, that's funny. That's good. That's good. I like it. I like it. Inspector, so you shuffle and pull for your in-person clients. Okay, yes. Yes. Before COVID, when I had many people at this table, I would let them cut the deck, but I would shuffle and pull. For real, yes, yes. Now, when I do start to see people in person again, they're still not touching my cards. I'm done. I am done letting people touch my cards. But here's what I'm doing instead. And I started doing this when COVID first started. And COVID first started and I was still seeing people in person, but I'm starting to recognize this could be an issue. I developed this method and it gave the best readings. I cannot wait to do it again. So I'll shuffle, I'll put the card in front of the person and I'll say, okay, take your right hand, hold it over the deck, so it looks like that, and put your energy into the cards. Now, take your left hand, and I have them rub their hands together to open their palm chakras. Take your left hand and hold your hand over the cards to receive the wisdom of the cards. And this got them so focused because they had to breathe and focus and make their energy do this. And they may not be people who are used to doing that. And oh, it opened them wide up. So that's what I'm going to do in the future. Okay, that was a tangent. Okay, so Karen, Queen, oh, for the question, Three of Swords, what is hurting your feelings? Good question. Answer, Eight of Wands reversed. Someone is taking too long to respond or react. Interesting. If that is true, there you go. Julianne, I pulled the King of Pentacles. How can you manifest success in your life? Good answer. Reverse King of Swords. Being true to your inner self. Oh, so good. So good. Cynthia, nice to see you here. I got the King of Cups and I asked, who is my King of Cups? And the answer, I got the Sun. Interesting. How would you interpret that? So Melanie, the question was, what does the Hanged Man want as it is in reversal? So like for me, if I got the Hanged Man, it would be like, what do I have to sacrifice, or what should I look at differently? Or what do I have to wait for? You know, something like that. So very interesting. Interesting the different ways that people do this. Dave, question, Devil reversed. Am I making bad choices? Answer, card, Eight of Swords. I'm jumping into things before I know the facts. Need to do more research and not let my passions make me jump into the fire. Fair enough. Karen says, damn, this is hard. Good exercise. Right, and clearly lots of different ways to do it. So what I wanted to know, Kathy, is how did the Eight of Pentacles turn into the question, can I stay independent? I was trying to figure out how you got independence out of the Eight of Pentacles. That was my question. Thinking about it, maybe because he's working, because he's learning, he's independently learning, maybe like that. Okay, Claire, question, Hierophant, who do I need to seek guidance from? Five of Cups, my late mom. Oh, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, Marion, King of Pentacles, question, where do I get my grounding from? Answer, Eight of Cups, keep walking away until I find it. Oh, Marion, that is so true for you. I love it. I love it. So this was fun, right? This was fun. And Clumsy Clairvoyance likes the hand over cards thing. Yeah, it was truly inspired. It was one of those things that just came, oh, Kathy, thank you. Yes, independent learning and working. I love it. Thank you for that. That's a whole new way for looking at it. Very good. Very good. I love it. So thank you, everyone, for sharing, for participating, for doing readings, for sharing your thoughts and feelings. Thank you for being here. I want to remind you to come back here. Come back here Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Bring your cards. Have the major arcana separated out, and we are going to play with those bad boys. I want to remind you about my premium class. I know Melanie just signed up. Thank you so much. I have a premium class coming up on the 27th of this month. We're taking advantage of the thinning of the veil. And we are doing a class. It's called Tarot Beyond the Veil. It's a whole class, a 2-hour class on using the cards to communicate with spirit. How to communicate with our loved ones in spirit, our angels, our ancestors, all of that good stuff. You need a ticket. You can get a ticket. Go to my website, tarotbychristiana.com. Go to the events, or go to my Facebook business page and look for the events there. My Facebook business page is Christiana Gaudet. I thank you all so much for being here. Now's the time for shameless self-promotion. If you want to drop your Insta handle, your website, your YouTube channel, go ahead and drop it in the comments so we can stay in touch with one another. Claire C. says, I love this group. You know, you folks have made getting through COVID so much easier. Really, really appreciate this. Appreciate, you know, as soon as COVID hit, I was like, we just got to meet together more. We can't meet in person, so we got to meet together more. And it has been a wonderful thing. I will have our November events set very soon. So Ultraviolet, with that Queen of Wands, more stability, I would say, because for all of us, the Queen of Wands was like our tarot reading self. I wonder if it's about tarot reading for you, seriously, to bring you more stability. And great question for the Four of Pentacles, how to have more stability. Very, very good. Fun exercise. And again, if you want to keep playing with this exercise, share what you got and share your thoughts about it over on Facebook in the Global Tarot Circle group. Ask to join there if you're not already a member, and go ahead and share your stuff there. I do want to remind you I am available for readings by phone, Skype, FaceTime, Messenger, mentorship. We can do that as well. Wherever you are in your tarot journey, I can help you. I can help you get further. I can help you get to your next level. I also want to remind you about StarCon, our new annual conference. You can go to our website and learn about it, StarCon with two A's, STAARCON. And we have a podcast called StarCast, STAARCAST. That's a YouTube channel as well. Please subscribe, STAARCAST. This week's, you can also listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. This week I interviewed Gita Rash, great interview. The one coming out next week, my interview with Benabel Wan. All right. Thank you all. Oh yes, exploring creativity. Absolutely. And thank you all for adding in your contact information. I will look forward to seeing you all. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Please subscribe to StarCast, STAARCAST, if you have not already. Thank you all so much. I'll look forward to seeing you soon.